Well, Hung Yee's taken off. We're going to get started on our final session, our closing session here. So thank you for joining and for being part of all that is Artists Thrive. I am going to do a quick share as well in the chat here. We've had a few requests on how do we actually get to the survey for Artists Thrive. So I'm just going to share the actual website link if anyone needs to find that. But as you know from all of our sessions, if you want to be on camera, great. Please join us online. If you want to leave your camera off, that is perfectly fine. And we encourage you to engage, whether it be with the thumbs up, reactions, or opening the participants tab and raising your hand if you want to ask a question, or also using the chat to let us know if there's anything. And with that, I'm just going to turn it over to Jay to start us through our closing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jay Cottle. I'm the Executive Director of Dunamis out here in Boston. I'm also very happy to be a part of the Artists Thrive Steering Committee, and we are so excited to have you all here with us as we move into our final session. These last 3 days have been amazing for me. I hope they've been amazing for you, and we'll have a chance to hear a little bit about that in a moment. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for your presence, just being here, but also your participation. As an educator, I am always tickled when people show up to learn and to be able to take new information and new ways of being, kind of like what Hung Yee was saying, opening themselves up to new experiences, to try new things and to bring that back into their work. So I personally am proud of all of you and thankful for all of you for trying to expand your consciousnesses. Is that the plural for conscious? Consciousnesses? Conscious? Whatever. Today it will be. For trying to expand your consciousness with us over the course of the summit. So over the next few minutes that we have together, we're going to, again, be moving into our closing practice, and we'll be previewing the 2021 summit. Okay, so got that dropping for you guys. And we'll also, again, be inviting you all to contribute your reflections, any aha moments or new learnings that you had, surprises, takeaways, suggestions, and more. Please include that in the chat box. Please let us know kind of what your takeaways were, all of them, and we're very excited to hear them. And so that's it for me. I know that for me personally, I'll just share personally how I felt about the summit the past few days. Obviously, we're in a time where a lot of things have become virtual, and there was a lot of discussion about how to build community and how to be in community with each other through a virtual medium. And I think we all had our fears about it. I do want to champion Heather for working so hard to put this all together and doing it so magnificently well. And I think the experience that I've got to have over the past few days speaks to that. I definitely feel close to folks. I feel like I've met new people. And in a lot of ways, that's the best part of a summit, right? We go, yes, to learn, but we also go to meet new people and to get new ideas. And that wasn't lost in this. And so I know that I got to establish those connections, and I feel very great about that. So again, please share your takeaways, some excitements, new learnings in the chat below, and let's continue on with this closing session. Thanks, guys.
Hi, my name is Beth Flowers. I've met a lot of you, which is exciting. I love to continue what Jay was mentioning, which is, oh my gosh, we met people. We met people online. It's like a miracle. But part of what we've been doing for the past several years, I can say that now, it's been several years that we've been having a summit. And I was so proud and pleased to be the host of the summit for the last 3 years in Berea, Kentucky. And one of the practices that we started was the idea of helping ourselves, our future selves. And we do that by sending ourselves a postcard. And this is not a new thing. Some of you may have done this at other conferences, or maybe you've done it in the past at Artists Thrive. But this is one of my favorite things, because you just never know how life-changing sending yourself a note about what you just experienced actually was all about. You know, we don't want you to just have spent 3 days with us and disappear and suddenly discover, oh, I forgot what happened at that conference, or I lost the spirit, or I lost my courage. No, I don't want to be online ever again. We don't want you to lose that. So several years ago, in 2014, as a matter of fact, I sent myself a postcard that was from Portland, Indiana. I was at a creative placemaking conference for rural creative places. And this was the first time I'd ever done this exercise. And Teresa Cameron from Americans for the Arts was one of the speakers. And this was her exercise. And we got to pick our own postcard, and I wrote myself this note. And at this time, I lived in Colorado. I lived in Fort Collins, Colorado. And I wrote, I want to remember to think small, travel to Berea, Kentucky, be inspired by the amazing work and passion in rural America. I will try to make sure I try out others' shoes when talking and collaborating. I will work with people who I like and not waste time connecting people if they aren't a good match. And that postcard went on my refrigerator. And then I moved to Berea, freaking Kentucky, y'all. You just never know what messages are gonna speak to you and what your future self needs. So the exercise that we're gonna do with you is to let you do this same exercise. Now we're virtual, so of course, Heather, the miracle of all miracles, has figured out a way to do this. So what we're gonna have you do is we have a form that Heather has just put into the chat. You click on that form and you're gonna write yourself a postcard. And guess what? Heather's work is never done. She's going to mail you that postcard in a month or 2 weeks or whatever we've decided. And you'll also get some Artist Thrive swag. So you'll want to do this because you get a little gift when you do this. But I can't tell you how important it is for us to think about the messages that we got, the people that we met, the things that we want to be intentional about going forward. So we're not going to collect these. Nobody's going to read them. You're going to fill out the form and then it'll be sent to you. So we're going to listen to some music. More of that wonderful, who got to hear the piano music from Ekin? We're going to hear a little bit of Ekin so that you get a chance to go ahead and write your postcards, and just find that. It's in the chat. You should be able to see it. It's Cognito Form.
Ruth, I see you have your hand raised. Is there any question we can answer for you?
No, I asked the question in the chat and you answered it. I like this, guys. So what you answered was the link is available after the conference. And that's good.
Good.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna give you just one more minute to finish up here. But I want to take this moment also to do a huge thank you to the Tremaine Foundation for their incredible support of the artists and our organizations for so long. This means so much to so many of us to be connected to each other and to learn from each other. And this kind of grassroots support of the field is invaluable. So thank you, Tremaine Foundation. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Naja. Thank you, David. Thank you, Matthew and Casey. And I don't know all of the people I need to thank besides that, but whoo, let's like give, oh, should we do a standing ovation? Since we started the day with that, let's do it, y'all. Stand up. And now I'm going to turn things over to Linda, who's going to talk about our next adventure together.
Great, thank you, Beth. Hello, everybody. I'm Linda Loddick. I'm the Interim Executive Director of the Thomas S. Keenan Institute for the Arts at the UNC School of the Arts in Winston-Salem. And we're so excited that we hopefully will get to be in person next year. This virtual Artists Thrive experience has been outstanding, and it's absolutely has made the most of pandemic restrictions that we're going through right now, including highlighting Winston-Salem as the intended host city. Next year, fingers crossed, we aim to return to a rich and dynamic in-person gathering here in Winston-Salem. And we hope that you will have an opportunity to meet many of this year's Winston-Salem-based speakers, organizations, and artists. As the local committee co-host with the Institute, I invite you to mark your calendars for next year for July 2023, 2021. Again, those dates are July 20 to 23, 2021. And also similar dates will be here in Winston-Salem in July 2022 and 2023. So we're very excited about that. So over the next 3 years, we hope you experience and learn more about our wonderful city of the arts and innovation. Located in the heart of North Carolina, between the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains and the Atlantic Ocean, Winston-Salem is located beautifully in North Carolina and is home to 6 colleges and universities, and the nation's first community arts council created in 1949. It's an incredibly welcoming, creative community offering vibrant educational, arts, and cultural experiences, and is firmly grounded in a powerful history. So to give us a glimpse of the rich African-American heritage here, we've asked Cheryl Harry, founder of Triad Cultural Arts, and to take us on a tour, a brief tour of the city. So thank you, Cheryl, for doing that.
Thank you.
There you go, Cheryl.
Okay, there. Okay. I am the founding director of Triad Cultural Arts. Our organization evolved out of the community's need and desire to commemorate a milestone event in American history, which was the ending of slavery. We organized as the Triad Juneteenth Festival Committee. And in 2005, we revitalized the freedom celebration in our area, and we have been presenting the festival since that time. We realized that other African-American cultural functions were needed throughout the year, so we decided to incorporate as a nonprofit organization. And following that, we were approached to take on the official role of convener of the citywide Kwanzaa celebration that's in our city. So our organization is continuing its evolution from an all volunteer-driven organization dedicated to a couple of annual events to becoming a significant cultural resource for our school systems, community organizations, and for individuals to be able to access easily local Black culture. In 2015, we made a small effort to fill a void in our city, and that was to offer African American cultural tours during the National Black Theater Festival. And trust me, it was a small effort. So in 2007, we began building a relationship with the festival. And in 2019, the theater festival is held every 2 years. We were the official tour group for the festival, and we were included in their promotions. So of course, we completely sold out before the festival started. So just as a note, we offered 5 tours during the theater festival week, and they all had to be completed by 1 p.m. so that people could get back and attend the plays. So we didn't have a lot of opportunities there. So we hope to work on that for next festival. But our tours actually focus on telling the city's whole story, and local demand was beginning to grow for our tours. In fact, we were planning for the tours to become a vital revenue stream for our organization. And then of course, COVID-19 hit. So we had to pivot and look at developing virtual tours. So we were so delighted that Artists Thrive still wanted a tour as a part of the virtual summit. So that of course propelled the process. So you will be getting the first viewing of a component of our virtual African American cultural tours. So I hope that you will enjoy this virtual tour that captures some of the touchstones of the Black experience in Winston-Salem. Okay.
I'm gonna cue it up.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I suppose I'm up.
Nope,
Huh?
hang on.
Nope.
I'm having a problem with tech because, you know, we made it through the summit so far.
Okay.
So give me
let's
1 second. It'll come up.
see. Okay.
Hi, I'm Brianna Connor, and I'm joining with Triad Cultural Arts to take you on a snapshot tour of Winston-Salem's African American cultural heritage. Winston-Salem was created in 1913 from the merged cities of Winston and the town of Salem. Winston was founded in 1849 as an industrial center, and Salem was established in 1766 as a devout religious community. The thriving tobacco industry brought swift progress for African Americans, placing them on the level of Black Wall Street cities in the South. Winston-Salem State University provided education, and WAAA, North Carolina's first Black programmed radio station, gave the community an active voice in 1950. This tour will illuminate some of the sites, historical landmarks, communities, and the people that make Winston-Salem a portrait of beauty. In Old Salem, a living history museum is the oldest standing African American church in North Carolina. This is the church where the ending of slavery was announced in 1865, and the original pews remain inside. The church was restored to its early 20th century appearance and remains an active congregation since 1822. Happy Hill is Winston-Salem's first planned African American neighborhood dating back to 1872, a community filled with historical trauma. It was once the center of African American life in the city. It is the legacy of resilient men and women who worked to make a life for their families pre- and post-emancipation. The neighborhood is rich in cultural assets, including a school. The first school for African American children was built here in 1867. There's also the first public park for African Americans, constructed in Happy Hill. Metal Truss Bridge was built in 1936 over Salem Creek Crossing for those entering and leaving Happy Hill. In the 1950s, 14 city blocks of the neighborhood were razed for the construction of Winston-Salem's first public housing project. Happy Hill Gardens. And there's also a graveyard. The Happy Hill Cemetery dates back to the 1880s and is located on the highest ground in Happy Hill. The construction of US Highway 52 in the 1960s severed the east side of the neighborhood, including part of Happy Hill Cemetery. Patterson Avenue, formerly known as the Depot Street, was considered to be the center of Black commercial and cultural life for laborers and professionals. The area spanned from 7th Street on down to 3rd Street. It represented a touchstone of Black life in Winston-Salem. There was an eclectic mix of business, offices, printers, cafes, theaters, churches, dance halls, prominent doctors and lawyers who lived in fine homes, factory workers who lived in tenements and small houses, boarding houses, grocery stores, a library, and the YMCA/YWCA. Again, this was truly considered the center of Black commercial and cultural life for laborers and professionals. Much of the Depot Street area was razed in the 1960s due to urban renewal. Winston-Salem State University was founded in 1892 as a co-educational public university. Currently, student enrollment sits at just over 5,000. WSSU offers 34 baccalaureate degrees, 50 undergraduate minors, 7 master's degrees, 2 professional doctorate degrees, and 6 post-baccalaureate certifications. WSSU is also home to one of the South's leading showcases dedicated to African and African American art, the Diggs Gallery. In 2007, that gallery was identified as one of the top 10 African American galleries in the nation. The campus's outdoor sculpture gardens have installations with strong emotive works that speak to the African American experience. And housed in the O'Kelly Library are the commanding murals by Dr. John Biggers titled Origins and Ascension. On June 1st, 1926, Safe Bus Company began offering transportation to African American citizens in Winston-Salem. Safe Bus Company eventually employed more than 80 drivers and carried 8,000 passengers a day, earning it the distinction of being the largest African American owned and operated transportation business in the world at the time. The artwork on the poles, painted by Leo Rucker, tells the history of the Safe Bus Company. Trade Street in downtown Winston-Salem is the hub for the Arts District. It features several Black-owned businesses like Body and Soul. It's a boutique, and there are also several restaurants down here owned by African Americans like Miss Aura's and Sweet Potatoes. It's a very popular place on weekends and even during the weekday at lunch. The Union Station is a local historic landmark and listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It was constructed in 1926 and was a segregated train station when it opened up in the 20s. Passenger service to the station ceased in 1970. The station was renovated and includes the segregated waiting room designated for African Americans accessed through the east entrance. Just up the street is the Lester Irvin Fire Station. In 1951, the city hired and formed the city's and state's first integrated fire company, housed at Eugene Company No. 4 on Dunleith Avenue. On July 21st, 1980, Lester E. Irvin was promoted to fire chief, making him the first Black American fire chief in the state. Chief Irvin was one of the original 8 firefighters hired in 1951 to form the city's first integrated firehouse. Atkins High School opened in 1931. It was known as the first modern high school for Blacks in Winston-Salem. It was the first use of Rosenwald funds for an urban high school in North Carolina. This is the home of Loman Pauling, founder of the R&B group The Five Royals. This group released their first single in 1953. 2 of their biggest hits topped the national rhythm and blues charts. James Brown, Ray Charles, Ike and Tina Turner, and Mick Jagger have cover versions of their music. The group was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2015. The Delta Arts Center opened in 2005. This center is the hub of activity with programs, exhibits, classes, and jazz dinners. One of the 5-star events was the film conversation with artists Elizabeth Catlett and Maya Angelou. The North Carolina Black Repertory Company was founded in 1979 by Larry Leon Hamlin. It's the first professional Black theater company in North Carolina. The company is universally recognized for its artistic and administrative achievements and its international outreach program, the National Black Theater Festival. After a day of taking in the cultural sights of Winston-Salem's rich African-American history, you're probably ready for some relaxation. What better place is there than Carolina Vineyards and Hops? You can enjoy the relaxed atmosphere, perfect for winding down outside. Their patio overlooks historic Winston-Salem and the Salem Creek Greenway. Their tasting room has everything you could desire, and it's African-American owned. This tour illuminates the sites, historical landmarks, communities, and people that make Winston-Salem a portrait of beauty.
So this is only the tip of the iceberg of what you can expect when you come to Winston-Salem next year. We have an array of cultural assets in our city. However, currently there's no dedicated African-American Heritage center in our city, even though we do have those two outstanding art galleries that you saw in the tour. But Triad Cultural Arts, in partnership with Heritage 365 and the Winston-Salem Urban League, are planning to establish a local Black Heritage Center in Winston-Salem, which we believe is a moral imperative for our city. So together, through a cultural arts lens, we plan to intentionally position our work towards social justice, inclusion, and resolving historical trauma, thus preserving and celebrating and providing access to Black history, culture, and art. So we hope that we'll be able to host an Artists Thrive event in our facility next year. So we're looking forward to you all being there and taking in the great sights and sounds of it. Thank you.
That's awesome, Cheryl. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. Loved it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, we are all, we have so much to share with you in Winston-Salem, and Cheryl was shared that much with you. We're so excited, and fingers crossed, yes, again, that we will get you there. So thanks again, Cheryl. That was beautiful. Each summit aims to expand and expound upon many of the existing threads and themes, so we can all go deeper with the Artists Thrive tools, strengthen our relationships, and learn from place. At the same time, we want to hear your ideas for future summits and what might improve your experience. Is always very important. In the chat box, we're sharing the form to submit your ideas and suggested content. The submission period runs from now to March 5, 2021. Again, it runs from now to March 5, and this form is also available on the Artists Thrive website, and I think Heather has shared the link. So thank you all, and thank you, yes, from me to Heather and Michelle and the Tremaine Foundation. Big, big shout out. Thank you, thank you. So now I will turn it over to, oh, sorry.
Well, before we hop to Hung Yee, I see that Dr. Lee has asked a question around degrees available in Winston-Salem. I'm not sure if either you or Cheryl can answer that, but the question is there an arts administration degree or museum studies degree offered at any of the college and universities in Winston-Salem?
Cheryl, did you?
Yes, Salem College offers an arts administration degree.
Yes, great. And we'd be happy to provide more information to you about that. Great. Okay, thanks everybody.
And with that, Hung Yee, you're up.
Hi everyone. I'm Hung Yee Lee Krakauer. I'm from Queens, New York, Queens Council on the Arts. And before we sign off, it's my honor on behalf of the steering committee, I'd like to take some time for some very, very special thank yous. To all of you, everyone who logged on, please accept our profoundest thanks and appreciation for all of your energy, your spirit, and your contributions. This summit is about connections, building relationships, and about changing conditions for artists to thrive. And you are all participants and the spirit of this intended outcome. To all of our speakers, our artists, our moderators, thank you, each and every one of you, for putting your best together and sharing of yourselves and your expertise. To the staff of VCP Closed Captioning, thank you for a terrific job in closed captioning for the summit. On behalf of the National Steering Committee and the local Winston-Salem Host Committee, thank you for your guidance, your encouragement, and for the faith in taking this year's summit to this virtual space. Thank you for the boldness, the courage, and the belief in our success. To the behind the scenes crew, now that's David, Matthew, Heather, and Naja. Thank you for making the magic work for all of us. To Heather and Naja for your planning, your detailed project coordination, for your cheerleading, your support, and for your expertise in operations that made this year's summit possible. And also, last but not least, to the Tremaine Foundation for your continuing commitment, belief, and support that we can change the narrative of our field in this country and elevate the value of artists in every community. Remember, the summit is a stepping stone for all of us to build continuing relationships. If you've met someone, continue the conversation. You can find out more about Artists Thrive by checking the website, reaching out to a steering committee member like me or any one of my colleagues, and the Tremaine Foundation. If you need help applying the Artists Thrive tool, you can reach out to the Artists Thrive activators. If you're not already on the Artists Thrive newsletter, which you all should be, please subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram. In the next few days, you will be receiving in the mail several things. One of which is a survey, a post-summit survey to help us make this, the summit next year in July even better. All participants will automatically be entered into a raffle to receive the 2 summit books, Creative Trespassing and the Social Profit Handbook. You will also be receiving links to full recordings of the summit sessions, as well as information on an ongoing basis about the upcoming summit in July of next year. While this is the last opportunity for all of us to be together in an official session, I want you to stay a little longer, play some trivia, or be part of the Broadway sing-along, or just stumble into the Esaquam Videri Lounge, if that's your, if that's your speed. And to end this, I wanted to share some very wise words from today's keynote speaker, Tanya Katan, who said, "Give yourself permission to learn, to try, and to fail, because this is all just a rehearsal for the future." And if you're like me, give yourselves permission to say y'all. So I hope to see y'all next year. Be well. Thank you. And it's been a pleasure and a loving experience being with all of you.